Hello everyone, my name is Hasun Pereira. I am Associate Tech Lead from Cisco Labs. So today I'll be talking about Flutter navigations. So I'll be covering from basic Flutter navigation features to advanced navigation features. And also all the topics I'm discussing here, you can use this as a cheat list for your next Flutter application. Also note that you need some basic knowledge of Flutter framework and the Dart language for you to follow this session. So let's get into our agenda. Here I'll be talking mainly about Navigator 1.0 and Navigator 2.0. And here I'll be discussing main differences between Navigator 1.0 and Navigator 2.0. And first we will cover all these Navigator 1.0 topics. And I'll try to make sure to add all the timelines of these subtopics so that you can directly jump into any topic here when you are watching the video. Let's get into our example application. Here I have created the example application with three files. We have the main file, page 1 and page 2, and I'll be using Chrome web browser to run this application and show you as a web application. Uh, but you can use any other platform as well, since Flutter supports all these other platforms like iOS, Windows, then Mac OS or Linux. So you can use any other platform, but in this session I'll be using Chrome. So let me start the application here so that I can go through the code while it starts. So here we first bootstrap our material application, and as the home page I have provided the page 1. So when the application starts, it will load the page 1 first. In the page 1 we have app bar. Inside the app bar we have a text widget again with the value page 1, and in the center of the page we have a text widget again with the value page 1, and in the bottom of the page we have a floating action button to go to the page 2. In the page 2 again we have a app bar and a text widget in the center. So in the app bar we have a page 2 uh, text widget with the page 2 value, and in the center also again we have the text widget with the page 2 value to identify which page we are in. And in page 1 we are using the navigator class to navigate into the page 2. So navigator class has a method, push method. In the push method we need to pass a context and a route. So here I have passed the context which is returned from this build method, and then I'm using material page route, which is a type of which is extended from route class. And for the material page route I have passed the method, the builder method again, and in the builder method I'm returning page 2. So that's how you can use navigator push method to navigate into the page 2. And this context is really important for the navigator class, and I will explain in the upcoming topics with some example why it's really important. So let's see this application running now. Here now when we press page 2, it will navigate to page 2, and you can see that there's a back button generated here, but in this app bar we have not mentioned any back button here, right? This app bar widget has a feature to basically detect whether there are any stacks, any routes in the stack. If you have more than one route in the stack, it will automatically generate this back button for you. You can disable this as well. So let me talk about what this stack of route is. So in our example we have the page 1 here, and when we use the push method it pushed the second page here. So in the stack of routes, most top route will be only shown in the UI, and you can use the pop method again to remove any of these routes again, then you will see the page 1, which I will be showing you in the second topic. And before the second topic, let's see what class we have used. So I showed you we have to push a route object, right? But we used material page route here. The material page route is again a type of route. So you can see here, and you have basically two main types: a page route and a pop-up route. So page route will always replace the entire screen, but the pop-up route will always overlay over current route. So if we have page 1 here, and then page 2 is a, for example, say it's a pop-up route, then it will get overlaid on top of this page 1. So you will see the page 1 also in the UI. But if you use page route for your second page, then it will basically replace the whole entire screen. So when you have a second page here, you will not see the page 1 here in the UI. Let's get into our the second example where I can show you how we can navigate back to previous page. Let me open that project. And let me run that project right away. Because it takes some time to start the application. Okay. So here in page 2, what I have done here is used navigator class again and the pop method, and you need to pass the context here again. So we are removing the pushed page from the navigator stack using the navigator.pop method. Let's see that application run. We have the page 1 and the floating action button here to go to the page 2, and again in the page 2 now we have the new floating action button, and when you press that you can go back to the page 1 because we are popping out basically this second page from the stack of routes. Let's see how we can pass arguments to next page. Let me open that project. Okay. Here also we'll start the application first since it takes time. While it starts, how I have passed these values. For example, in real world examples, in scenarios, we need to pass some data to your second page, right? From the first page, you fill some forms in the first page, and depending on the data you fill in the page 1, you need to navigate to page 2 with those data. How can you do that? In page 1, here I have used the same method to push in the material page route, and for the page 2 I have passed the constructor value. In page 2 I have declared a string value here, and I'm getting this as a constructor parameter, and you have changed the text value to show that value as well here to show you guys that we can send this data using constructor to the second page. Let's see that application running now. When you go to the second page, now you can see the hello world is there, the value which we sent from page 1. So you can send any object, any value from here, from page 1 to page 2 using this method, using constructor parameters. So we can change this value and hot restart the application, and we can see that that value has been changed, which we changed in page 1. Let's see how we can handle platform back button presses. Oh, before that, we need to get results from the navigation. So let's see how we can get results from navigation. So what I meant from get results from navigation is like, for example, now you passed some data from page 1 to page 2, and you fill some form or some, again you fill some form with some data, and then you need to get that data back to page 1. How can you do that? Let me open that project for you. Let me start that project also right away. Okay. Now in page 2, I am using the same pop method, but I'm passing another value, which is a boolean value. So I want to return a boolean value to page 1. So you can use this pop method, and then you can pass any results to your previous page using this method. In page 1, since if you can go to this push method, you'll see that it returns a future type object. Because of that, you can use this await method to wait until the second page returns some data, and you can capture that data in a variable. And since this is a boolean type uh, data, you can basically check whether it's true. If it's true, then I'm printing a value in the console. So let's see that application running now. You go to the second page, and when you go back to the previous page, you can see that return results are true, that console value was printed here. And when you go to second page and if you change this to false, you should not see that console value. That's what restart the application. And when you go to the second page and when you come back to the previous page, oh, you will not see the console uh, line here. Now, how can we handle platform back button presses? So, in this application, the previous one, if you go to the second page, you can see that I can press the browser back button to go to page 1 again. How can we prevent that? For example, if you have a use case where you don't need uh, browser to go when someone press back from the browser, you don't want to for your application to go back. How can you handle that? Let's open our the next project here. Let me start that project also right away. Okay. Here, when we go to the page 2, we don't want to go back to the page 1. How can we handle that? We can, so I have wrapped up this scaffold widget with WillPop scope widget. Using this WillPop scope widget, it gives us a onWillPop method where we can handle whether we want to go back to the previous page or not. Let me comment that line, this line for now. So if we return false here, it will not allow us to go back to the previous page. Let's see how this application is working now. When you go to the second page, now when you press the browser back button, you will not be able to go to the page 1. But if you press this button, the floating action button which we have implemented, you can go to the page 1. This will be really helpful. For example, say if you want your application to handle your back button manually, you can do that as well. For example, you can basically return false here, but you can use the pop method to go back to the previous page. Right. you might have seen like some applications. You might when you go to the home page, and when you press back again, it will pop up. It will give you a message in a pop-up saying that you need to press back again to exit the application. So those logic can be implemented here. And now I'm using navigator.pop method again here. Even though I'm returning false, now we should be able to go back to the previous page. So we are going to the second page, and when you press back, now we can go back. And here also we can return a value for the previous page. So we can pass maybe false here. So if you can see, we are returning true here, and we are returning false here. So you can, when you press the back button from the platform, you want to return false, and when you press the back button from the 14 action bar, you can press return true. So let's see that application run. So now you can go to the page 2, and when you return back, that console message will be printed here. And when you go to second page, and when you press the platform button, it will not get printed here. So you can return two different values depending on your logic. We have covered handle platform back button presses, and now we'll be covering how we can use to navigate new pages using name routes. Let me open that project. In the main page here, I have changed this the parameter which earlier it was home, right? When we start the application, we want to go to page 1, but now I have removed that home variable from the material app, and then I have added routes. I'm using routes variable. Using routes, basically you can provide a route, a string route, and depending on that route, you can navigate to any of these pages. So you have seen in web application, for example, you might see like when you're going to page 1, you will go to page 1, and then again some data here likewise. So you can handle that using name route. So when you go to page 2, it will automatically update the path of the URL to page 2. And in the page 1, let me start this application as well so that it won't take time. Okay. So in the page 1, I'm using the navigator class here again, and I'm using the push name method. Earlier I used the push method. Now I'm using the push name, and then I'm passing the context. And now here I'm not creating the object, the page to the page widget here. I'm just passing the string which I want to navigate into. And these main routes we have declared like, okay, if someone wants to go to page 2, should return the page 2 object here. And in the page 2, to go to previous page, we use the pop method again. Let's see that application running now. We have the application here. Now when you go to go to page 2, now you can see that our URL has also changed to page 2, and when you press back again, you are moving into page 1. And here page 1 value is not there because we are using root path to show the page 1. So that's how we can use name routes here. I need to cover pass arguments to a new page using name routes. How we can pass arguments like which we have done using anonymous routes. How can we do that using name routes? Let me open that project for you first. Okay. So main page will look like this, and we don't have to do any change. But in page 1, when we want to send some data, we we need to pass it as the argument parameters for push name. So push name method suppose this argument method, and then I have created a new class to handle all our arguments. Here only I have value here, but you can have any number of parameters here. In the page 1, I'm creating an object and passing the value as hello world. And how can we access this send data from page 1 in page 2? If you go to page 2, you will see here from this context, basically we can access all these arguments and from page 1. And I'm casting that as my argument types, which is screen arguments, and saving it in the args parameter. And then I'm accessing the args parameter, which is our object, and accessing the value. Let me start that application. So we send the arguments using this arguments parameter, which is available in push name method, and we basically access that argument method using the context and show it on the body of the second page. Now when we go to the second page, you can see that hello world, the value which we sent from page 1 is in the page 2. If we change this value again to some other value, it should get reflected in the second page. We need to restart the application. Now when you go to second page, you can see the value is changed to testing from hello world. So we have covered the 7th topic. Now we'll move to navigate how using bottom navigation bar. For this you need to use nested routers. So let me open that project. Before that, I need to explain how I have used these nested routers. So in the example application I have built my application is there. Then the material application where we basically bootstrap our whole Flutter application, and then we have the home page, and again a scaffold widget, and in the center we have a stack widget again. So I have used the stack widget to position my bottom navigation bar on top of the other page, right? So you need your bottom navigation bar always visible, and when you press some buttons in the bottom navigation bar, you need to change the body, right, without overlaying anything on top of the bottom navigation bar. So for this I have used another material app. Why I have created another material app here is because I wanted to create another navigator. So from the page 1, this is our page 1 and scaffold app bar and the center video, and in the floating action button, when we navigate to the second page, I'm accessing this material application, not this one, to navigate to the second page, so that material application can only change this whole part to the page 2. And basically you can access this material application as well. I will show you in the example. So let me open that project. Okay, so the project is already open, and I'll run it on Chrome web browser now. So until it runs, so here you can see that I have the material app page, and then I have implemented a new class named home, and I'll be navigating to home when you open the application for the first time. In the home page, so I have the scaffold widget, the center, and then in the stack widget I have material app and a bottom navigation bar. So I have positioned it to the bottom so that you can see the navigation bar in the bottom, but it will be on top of this material application because I'm using a stack. And in the material application, again you have the home variable, and when this material application loads, you want to navigate into the page 1. And in the bottom navigation bar, I have two elevated buttons. Let me show you that application running and then explain you how it works. We have this go to page 1, go to page 2 here, and when you press go to page 1, it will go to page 1, and when you go to page 2, it will go to page 2 without changing this bottom navigation bar. It will be always on top. How I have done that? Here basically what I have done is, again I will go to my diagram. I'm using this navigator class to basically change this page to the second page. Here if you can see that I'm passing a navigator key, but let me explain about the context also here so that I can explain you how that works. So context is something where you can basically refer to any widget in the widget tree. So if you have the context of this, then the Flutter application know, okay, where this tag widget is. So that's why we need to always pass this context to the navigator. From this, so always the context which is passed to this method is the previous widget's context. So in this case, this home page, this the context which was passed here is the context of basically the material app page. And say if you want to access this navigator class, how can you do that? So see, if you use the context method, I mean the context returned here to navigate, let me show you an example. We can use the navigator class here, then we can use the push method and pass the context, and then we can use the material page route here. Okay, now if we use use this method to navigate into the page 1, and then if we use this method to navigate to page 2, let me comment this for now. Okay, now we want to go to page 2, right? So let's copy page 2, it is here. Okay, now when you press this button, it should navigate to page 2, but let me show you why it will not work. Now if you see, if I press this go to button, it replaced the bottom navigation bar, but when you go back again, you can see the bottom navigation bar. When even if you press go to page 1, it will replace this bottom navigation bar. And why is that? Because this context is always the previous context, previous widget context, so it doesn't know that there is this navigator exists in the widget tree when you pass this context. So because this, when you basically create this elevated button here, it has not yet created this material app, right? So because of that, you need to pass a navigator key here so that you can access this navigator later on the code. So that's what I have done here using the navigator keys. So basically I have created a global key here and pass it as the navigator key so that I can access that navigator, the inner navigator, to navigate to these pages. So now when you comment this and run it, when you go to page 2, it will go to page 2 without replacing the screen. Okay, page 1, yeah, sorry, I couldn't comment this line now. Now when you go to page 1, it should not replace this bottom navigation bar. But in these pages, I mean page 1, I'm using these navigator keys here again, but still now in page 1, if we go to the diagram, now page 1 should return context of material app in the build method, right? So ideally we should be able to navigate without using these navigator keys. So without using this navigator key, if I comment it and if I use the navigate off method here, okay, and save it, we should be able to go to the page 2 without replacing this bottom navigation bar. As you can see, now you can go to the second page using this context, because now the context is being created and you can access it. So because the page 1 has the material app context, so that you can access the navigate. But in case if you want to basically access the root navigator, you can do that as well. So to this navigator of context, you can pass another variable which is root navigator. If you set it to true, then the navigator class will find the root navigator, which is basically this navigator, and try to push the material page. So we should replace this whole thing, this home page, with page 2. Let's see that application running now. So we have the floating action button here. When you press it, now it replaces the whole thing with the bottom navigation bar. And why this floating action button is underneath this the bottom navigation bar, this is also I have put it here because to show you guys that since we are using the stack widget here, we are drawing on top of this material application. So because of that, whatever widgets which is under here will be covered from the bottom navigation bar. So that's how we can basically use these contexts and the navigators to navigate using bottom navigation bar. Here there's another thing, like so I have used this navigator key. So most of the real world applications you can I mean it has only 2 navigators. So because of that, you don't need to pass these navigator keys to your every page. You can use so I will go to page 1. So you can use this navigator method to navigate I mean use the root navigator or the nested navigator, which is the inner navigator. But in case if you have like more than 2 navigators, then there is no way of accessing those navigators, right? So then you might need to create several navigator keys, and these navigator keys should be unique to every navigator. So if you have, say for example, if you have 5 navigators, then you need to create 5 navigator keys, and depending on the page, whichever you need to access that navigator, then you need to pass it to the second page, which like I have done it here. So you can basically use I mean page 1 also I have passed it here, and then you can use all these 3 methods to use the root, I mean the inner navigator, to navigate to the pages you need. Okay, so here I have covered navigate using bottom navigation bar using nested routers. So let's see how we can navigate to dialogues and pop-up menus using again nested navigators. And I can show you how context is really helpful in this case as well. Let me open that project. And let me start this application also right away. So until it starts, let me explain what I have done here. So we have the same application structure here, but now I'm using this navigator basically to show dialogues or pop-ups. Let's see how I have done it. In the page 1, uh, in the center of the screen, I have added two buttons. There's an elevated button here and the elevated button here. And when you press the first button, it will show a dialog. So you can use the show dialog method to show any dialogues. So in the dialog, I'm creating a container with 200 and height 400. And in the second elevated button, I'm using show menu method. So you can use this show menu method to show pop-up menus with, and I have added 3 items here. And I have positioned it in the bottom of the screen so that I can show you guys how this context is working. So let's discuss how this dialog works. Here now for this context, I have passed this context, right? So it should be materials app context. So it should use this material app navigator to show this dialog. So when we are using that context, how does it work? Let me run this application. For some reason I cannot find the browser here. Let me start it again. So let's give it a moment to start the application on Chrome. Okay, so the application is running now. Now here we have the two buttons here, show dialog, show pop-up menu. So when you press the show dialog button, you can see that this dialog is underneath this bottom navigation bar but over on top of page 1. So we are basically overlaying, we are using this pop route method here, and we are overlaying over the current route, so which is the page 1 here. So we are overlaying this dialog on top of page 1, but if you can see, it's underneath the bottom navigation bar. That is because we are using the inner navigator to do that. So if you pass the context of the root navigator, it should show over this bottom navigation bar as well. So let's see how we can do that. So we can use again the navigator class of method and pass this context, and as a parameter you can pass the root navigator parameter and set it to true, so that it will return the root navigator context. And here you can use that context here, and if you save it and restart the application, now if you press this show dialog, now you can see that this dialog show on top of the bottom navigation bar as well. So this is really helpful for your application to handle this context correctly, so that in some cases you might need to draw this dialog behind this bottom navigation bar. In some cases you might want to draw this dialog on top of the bottom navigation bar as well. And most of Flutter widgets and methods support, so for example we can just pass the context here, and it has this use root navigator method, so the parameter, so you can set it to true and save it. And now when you run the application and click this show dialog, it should show this dialog using the root navigator. And if you set this to false and hot restart the application and click show dialog, now it should be underneath this the bottom navigation bar. And for this pop-up menus also, let me show you how it works now. So I have basically moved this pop-up menu to show it in the bottom of the screen. So when you press this, you can see that my third item is underneath the bottom navigation bar, but the first two items are on top of the bottom navigation bar. But if you use the context here also, root context, you can show it on top of the bottom navigation bar. and you can use this variable also to do the same thing. So let's just use the variable and set it to true. Now to restart the application. Now you can see these menu items are on top of the bottom navigation bar. So this is really examples. For example, say in your application you have a list of items, and when you scroll down and when you click the option menu, if it goes underneath this bottom navigation bar, the user might not be able to select it. So in that case, you should handle this context carefully. So if you have more than one context, I mean, if you have, more than two contexts, then you need to pass this navigator key and give this context correctly. But most of the application, it only has two contexts. So you have a root navigator, and then you can have the nested navigator. So then all these widgets automatically support this, and so you can use the root navigator or the inner navigator here by just setting this use root navigator to true or false. Otherwise you might need to pass this context manually, setting this use root navigator variable to false. So we have covered the ninth topic. Let's move into advanced name routes with on-generate route. Here we have covered how we can navigate to the next pages using anonymous route, then name route. Now we will talk about on-generate route, how we can use it, and what is the difference between name routes and on-generate route. So let me open it and let me start the project also again right away. So here in the main file, you can see that I'm not using routes or home parameter which is provided in the material app. Now I'm using on-generate route. So on using on-generate routes, you can handle how you want to navigate into these pages programmatically. Like you can program the way you want, but the Flutter will only provide you the route. So what is the main difference between name routes and on-generate route? For example, say you have a route like this, and you want to navigate to page 2, and this will be some data you want to pass into the page 2. So for example, say you have a book and you want to show what is the book in that page. So you need to pass the book ID. So you can pass that book ID here. In that case, you cannot use name route. So you can use on-generate route to handle your own URL passing here. Here, if you can see, it returns a settings object here. So we can access that settings object and access the name variable and check whether it's a root path and if it's a page 2 path or whatever. So here I'm using the URI again. Say, for example, if we have a route like this, using this URI, I can check how many segments are there. So it separates from this forward slash. So if you have two segments, then and the first one is page 2, I'm passing that value as data, I mean as ID to the page 2. And if the ID is empty, if it only has one path segment, then I'm passing it to page 2 again without having no value for the ID. So we can maybe change it, say show it as null. So if any of these paths or anything doesn't match, then I'm returning to the unknown page. So let's see that application running here now. You can press the go to page 2 now here, and you'll see I have gone to the page 2 with 889 value, and I have passed it to show it on the app bar text widget here. So if you go to page 2, I'm passing the ID parameter here as the constructor parameter, and in the app bar I'm showing the ID value here. And from the page 1, when you move now, you can use the route like this, page 2 with the data value, so that it will show this 889 when you press the button. So let's see how that works. So in the page 1. When you press to page 2, it will change this to 889. Also, if you change this value here, for example, we give 88, now it should change this value also again, because now on generate we are the ones who are handling the path, right? So because of that, now we can change this value to anything like in any other web application and change the value of the page. So depending on this ID, you can show any content here. So that is the main advantage over name routes. So how can we pass arguments to the new pages using onGenerate route, like we have done in anonymous routes and name routes? So let me open that project. In name routes, so that we were able to pass some data from page 1 to page 2. So in real world example, like if the user is filling some data in the page 1 and we want to transfer those data to the page 2, there should be a way, right? So in onGenerate route also suppose that. So how can you do that? So when you are moving from page 1, again you can use the same method which we use in the name routes and pass these arguments. But now we cannot access these arguments here. So we need to access these arguments in the onGenerate method, and like before you can use this screen arguments method, and in the settings, so you pass these arguments and access this as argument here and pass it to our type which we have created, screen arguments. So you can have any number of fields here, and then we cast it this argument type to our type, and from that we access this object and access this variable to pass it to our page 2. We start that application. So we need to handle it. So since we are creating the page 2 here, we have to pass this value as a constructor parameter to the page 2. So let's see that application running now here. Now here we from the page 1 we click this button to go to page 2, and here we are passing some arguments saying hello world. So that should be reflected in the page 2. So you can see that I'm now navigating to 443. So I'm showing the ID here and the argument here. So if you go to the page 2, you can see that the value and the ID as the constructor parameter. So here I'm showing the value in the bar and the ID in the center of the page. So that's how we can use onGenerate route to pass arguments. So how can we navigate using bottom navigation bar using onGenerate route? Let me open that project. And let me start that project also. Here in the main file, so we have onGenerate route. Like before, when we are using the home, when we are using the nested routers, I have to create another page named home. So here also I created another page named home. So here also we are creating two separate routers to handle this bottom navigation bar. But how can we do it using onGenerate route? So here when the application first loads, it will basically bootstrap this application and it wants to find out which page we want to navigate first, right? So this method will be called first with the root path, and then we want to return to our home page. And in the home page, again like before, let me show you that route widget tree. So we have a my app, material app, then we have the home page and scaffold center and the stack. Again we have a position tag, position widget for to show our bottom navigation bar, and then we have this material application again to navigate into different pages while we are having the bottom navigation bar. So here in the home, if you can see, now we have the stack, the material application is here, and then we have the bottom navigation bar. Here again in the material app, we have the on generate route. So if these pages or any methods are using this navigator, the inner navigator, this on generate method will be called, and this method will not be called, get called. And depending on that path, then you can handle the same way which we used earlier to route into different paths. But I have added some of the logic. I will explain why this is important. Let me show you the running application. So we have the go to page 1, go to page 2 buttons here. So now we can press this button to go to this page. And when you press this go to page 1 here in the floating action button also, it works. So using on generate route, it works perfect. So why we need these additional checking? So I'll explain why. Now since this is a web application, anyone can change this URL to some other URL, right? Then you might want to navigate into that page depending on the URL. So for example, if you share this URL with someone, you need them to access this page with same data you are seeing, right? So in order to do that, when you first change this application URL, this application will get reloaded, right? So then the main page will get called again here. So if you can see here, I have added some comments here to show you guys how that works. So if you don't enter URL here, and if you use this bottom navigation bar, then you can see we are always using this the inner navigator. So if you can see, the path is this. If you go to page 1, you will get the route path. So you will only use this on generate route if you are using the inner navigator here. And if you even use this the floating action button, it will only use this inner navigator. But in case if we enter a URL value here, then we are using the route navigator also again. So we are in this Flutter, they will be calling this on generate route with that route path, and then again it will boost up the whole application from the beginning, since you are accessing this URL from a fresh browser, right? So then you need to pass that path into our home as well, because then you will get this path in the route navigator, and you will only get in the inner navigator, it's a route path again, right? So how can we handle that? So in order to do that, what I have done here is if this method is called, I'm passing that route path also to this home class again here, and saving it here in the variable. And then I have a first time, so only in the first time we need to use this path, right, from the route navigator to control our application, I mean show any pages which we have. And you cannot use basically this on generate route method, because you don't have the access to the inner route. So if you have the page 2443 here, and you have the application here, now you don't have this bottom navigation bar or anything like that to go to page 2, right? So you need to load this page, the bottom navigation bar and everything in the home page. So you cannot navigate into those page 2 using the route navigator. So you need to pass that path to the home route here, home widget here, and then use that for the first time only. So if it creates this object again, then this first time I'm setting this value as first time to true. So in our application, I'm checking if it's first time. Then as the route path, I'm using the path which was sent from the route navigator. Otherwise, I'm using the path which is uh, given from our on generate route here from the inner route. So inner navigator. So using those two methods, then I can basically now if you navigate it, it will always go to, because it's not the first time, it will go to this else and set the name here. But if you basically navigate from the browser and if you enter any value here 567, now you can see that page 1 was, I mean the route navigator was also called and it passes this value. Since it's the first time, it will go to this method. So if you can see, I have print statement here again, came to the inner navigator with path. Now this path is like route navigator, but then this doesn't know, I mean this method doesn't know that we need to go to page 2, right? So we need the route path to go to page 2. So that's what I have done with these two variables and these conditions. So all the other parameters and conditions are like before, like where we use on generate route earlier without the bottom navigation bar. So using this method, now you can see that we can navigate to pages. Also, we can navigate to pages using the URLs as well, like before. So here I have to mention that the main thing which is missing here in using Navigator 1.2. For example, let's restart the application. So I have restarted the application. Now when you go to page 2 and when you press back, here you are going back to page 1. But say you share this URL to a friend of yours and then if he accesses this page also again. Now you go to page 2, but you don't get the back button to go to page 1. So you are not in the same state. So here you have the back button to go to page 1, but here you don't. Let me explain you why. So we have this stack of routes, right? So if the application is fresh, these routes are not there anymore, right? So your first page will be only this. So there are no other routes for you to go back. But in case if you are using the application, a fresh application, you have the first route, then you go to second page and then you share the URL. From the shared URL, when you access the application, you will only get the second page here. So you don't have a first page here. So how can you manage this type of routes? So that's where Navigator 2.0 comes into place. So basically all the other web application in the internet, basically if you go type the URL, you should be able to go to that page and access the same state when you share the URL for that user and for the person who's accessing that URL, the state of the application should be same. If that is the case in your that is the requirement for your application, then you should use Navigator 2.0. So that is the main difference between Navigator 1.0 and Navigator 2.0. So you can basically handle your basic navigations to pages and this stack of routes in Navigator 2.0. Let me explain you how we can basically use basic navigation using Navigator 2.0. Let me open that project. Okay, here again I'm using the material app in the main dart file, and as the home I'm not passing the first page to loader. Instead of doing that, I'm using the navigator widget, which is from Navigator 2.0. And in the navigator feature, we can pass pages, and we need to pass on pop page function. So what does this pages do? So basically, this pages, the array, is the list of. Uh, so let me show you. So it's the list of routes which we want. So basically, you can create the stack as you want programmatically. So here, this will be the first page which will be in the stack of route. So if you go here, this will be this here. This will be the first page, and here this will be the second page. So I'm not doing any checkings or if condition. So this page will be always there as the first route in the stack, and the second page, the page 2, will be checked from a boolean condition, and if it's only true, then I will be putting it on top of the stack. So if you have this page, then you will not be able to see this page 1 here. So how did I do that? So in the page 1, for the floating action button, I'm calling this onTap method, which was passed from the main.dart file. So we have this go to next page, which I pass as a constructor parameter here. So this will get called in the page 1 floating action button when I press that. So when you press it, what will happen is it will call this state method. Let me explain what this state method, and it will basically change this boolean value to true. What this state method does is, like, it will call this build method again to build this widget, since it's a stateful widget. Then in the second time when it's building when it's calling the build method, this value is true, right? So because of that, this widget also will be generated. So using this method, you can always control the stack of routes the way you want, not like in Navigator 1.0. So let's start this application first. And in page 1 also, you are calling this method to go to page 2. And in page 2 to go to previous page, again you can use the same navigator.pop function, so which will basically remove the route from the stack. And when you call this function, basically what will happen is, in this navigator, you need to pass this on pop page, right? So this method will get called, and you need to check this condition in order to see whether all these popping mechanism is correctly done underneath the file. And if it's done, then you can call this state method again and set this go to page 2 to 4, so that when this build method get called again, then this material page will not be generated. So that's how we can handle going back to previous. So let me show you the running application. So here now when you press go to page 2, we call this method and set this go to page 2 value to true. So because of that, it will generate this page. Now you will not be able to see page 1, but page 1 will be always behind. So when you press copy out, then this method will get called, and then you will set this go to page 2 boolean value to false, and this page will not be there in the set. So that's how we can do basic navigation. So how can we use URLs to do the same thing? Like I have mentioned before, using OnGenerator route. So it's covered in our next topic, how we can do advanced navigation to pages using URL. Let me open that project. Here, let me explain how this Navigator 2.0 is working. in a diagram. So this is basically how information flows through delegates in Navigator 2.0. So we have the operating system. So if someone enters a URL, it will get passed through this route name provider and this route name parser. So we can basically implement this route name parser the way we want in order to like pass these URLs. So yeah, depending on the requirement, the passing mechanism for the URL can differ, right? From application to application, so you can do that on your own way. And then we have this router delegate. This is basically to handle this stack of routes, so you can generate this stack of routes depending on the URL, and then you can notify this router that okay, this stack of routes is now different, rebuild the navigate. So then you can basically call the notify listener method, and router will basically build the navigator for you, and you can handle all this pop routing also from the back button press. So here now if you can see that I'm using material app router, which is from Navigator 2.0. You need to pass a router delegate and a router information passer. So as I have shown you in the diagram, you need to implement this first, then we'll see how we can implement the router delegate. So let's get into our my app route information parser, which I have implemented. Here you have to override two methods, which is restore route information and pass route information. So if someone enters a URL, this method will get called, and you need to pass this URL as you want. And then this type, I mean this class, is extended from route information parser, and you need to pass a generic type, which I have created as my app route path. It's a class with having some variables, so I have path and data. So in my use case, I want to handle URLs like this. This will be my data and this will be my path. And as default values, I'm having the root path without any data, so data will be none. So here, so first I need, when someone start the application, I need to handle the root path. So that will be my root path. So I'm creating that my class type here and returning it. And if there are like two path segments, for example, if you have in this example you have two path segments, so in that case you return the data and the URL. In all the other cases, just return to the root path again. And so so you have in the application you have buttons. I'm in the bottom navigation bar, the floating action button for you to go to the other page, right? If that happens, then you need to update the URL in the browser as well. So right, so this method will be called at that point, and we need to tell Flutter that you need to show this part in case if someone change the routing, and then you need to implement the router delegate. Here you need to implement the build method to build our stack of routes, and then you need to implement this current configuration and set new route path. So basically this set new route path will get called if someone change the URL from the browser, and this get current configuration will be called when Flutter wants to update the URL of the browser. And here in the build method you can see that we have the navigator, the widget here again with pages and on pop page like before, which we covered in the basic navigation to pages. Here if you can see, we have the same method go to next page, which I'm passing to page 1. So this method will get called, and this app path will be different when it will get changed to page 2 with data 999, and we are notifying the listener. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm telling the router that okay, uh, these stack of routes are now changed, you need to rebuild the navigator. So you can do that by calling these notify listeners. So like earlier, we cannot call this set state because this is a change notify type class. So you need to notify the listeners, whoever listening, that it has to call this build method again. And you need to create a navigator key here, also a unique navigator key here. And I'm creating the app path here so that you can just you can change the value depending on the URL. So let me start this application to show you how it works and the difference between Navigator 1.0 navigation and using Navigator 2.0, what we can handle. Let's give it a moment until the application starts. Okay, so our application is running now. Now here, if you go to page 2, now you can see, not like before, the URL also changes. So when you go to page 1, you can go to page 1. When you go to page 2, it will change with the value. So we are changing the value to 999 here, right? Now also, if you like change this value 99, it will get changed here. Now if you copy this URL, for example, let me say when we were at page 1, right? We want to go to page 2, and when we share this URL, that user also should be able to go to page 1. Let me go to that 999 URL. Now you can see this back button is also automatically generated. That is because there is a route to go back. So when you press back, you will go to page 1. Here also page 1. So now these two applications, both of these applications are in the same state. So if you want to, so some people call this deep linking also. So if you want to share the URL and to have this application in the same state, then you can use to Navigator 2.0, since you can manage the stack of routes the way you want. So let me go to the next topic here, which is navigate using URLs with nested routers and bottom navigation bar. So how can we use Navigator 2.0 to navigate to different pages using a bottom navigation bar? Let me open that project for you. Let me go to the main.var file here. So here we need to develop our router delegate and router information path for the root navigator. And again, like before, we have a home page which I have packaged it separately, and in the home page we need to develop our router delegate again here for us to go to different pages from the inner navigator. So let's see what I have done in the root navigator delegate and the route information pass. So let's go into route information pass. So just like before, I have implemented to handle all the URLs. So if there's a URL like this, for example, so in case if the root path is this, then it will go to this page. If you have two segments like this, 1 and 2, then it will go to here. In all the other cases, it will go to page 1 again. The main difference here is the generic type which I have used here. So here, what I have done here is, if someone changed the path or if someone changed the data, I'm notifying whoever listening to this class. So I have extended this class again from change notifier. And so if someone changes path or data, I want to notify them. And in this, the root navigator, you can see here in the constructor, I'm creating the navigator key. And again here, I'm listening to any changes which is done in this my object, right? So if someone changes the path, then it will notify all the listeners, so that we are notifying the router to obtain newly configured new navigator for to rebuild. So it will rebuild. So what I'm doing is I'm changing. If someone changes the path of this object, then I'm rebuilding the whole thing. I mean this stack again. So since this is the root navigator, we want to navigate to the home page, and only that will be there in the navigator stack. So that will be the first route in the navigation stack. And like before, if someone changes the path, this method will get called. So I'm setting these values to path and data. So I'm always changing values which I have created in this object here, so that if someone change it, I'm notifying the router to rebuild this navigator again. So that's how I have done in the root navigator. Yeah. So let's move in to the home, the inner navigator, what I have done here. So here again we have the scaffolds stack, and in the stack we pass the first the widget. We have the router, which is from navigator 2.0 again, and then we have the bottom navigation bar here. And then I have created I'm passing a router delegate here again, which I have implemented separately to handle all the inner navigations. So in this, if you can see, I'm getting the app path also here as a constructor. So I'll be getting the same app path object which I have created in the home delegate, which is this one, as a constructor parameter. And then I'm changing the values in this path and data, so that I'll be notifying the root delegator also to tell the router that there are some changes in the navigation stack. So here in the build method, now I have the material page 1 here. So when the application start, it will have as the first page, as the first route in the stack, it will have the home page, and then it will have the page 1 here. So always this page 1 and home will be there in whatever state this application is, because we don't check, right? We always build this page and return it. But page 2 we check on a condition. If it's only the path is page 2, only we will be generating this and putting it to the navigation stack. And then we have the on pop page here again. So in the second page, if you pop the route, it should go back to page 1. So I'm calling this go to next page also from this page 1, so that I'm changing the path to page 2 and 999 in the app path object. So it will call this method and change the path. So when you change this path, you can see that I'm notifying the listener, so that it will get notified by the home delegate, and then it will call these notify listener methods, so that router knows, okay, it has to build the whole navigation stack. And we don't need to use this set route path, that's why I have added a set false here, since it is handled by the root navigator. Now let's see this application running. So let me start this application. Also in page, in home, when you want to navigate to the page 1 and page 2, what I have done is I'm calling the same router delegate which I have created, the inner delegate. This is the inner navigate. So in that I have the update path method here. So I'm using this method again to update this same object here. So basically I don't have to do that, because I'm passing that here, so I can update that object as here as well, but I'm using this method here to be safe, to update this object to page 1 and without any data. So when you go to page 1 you don't need any data, but when you go to page 2 you are passing some data. So let's see that application running here now, and I have moved the floating action button up here in the page 1. So if you press go to page 1, now since you are in the page 1 you will not see any difference. Now when you press go to page 2, you will see, you will generate to go to page 2, and when you press page 1 here again, you will go back to page 1. And here if you can see that I'm generating these routes. So let me here, so now you have the home route here, the page 1 and the page 2 here. So always this home route and page 1 will be there, so you will only be removing and adding this page 2 here. So because of that, when you generate the page 2, you will get the back button to go to page 1. See here, like this you will get the go to page 1 even if you press this button. So this when you press that button from the page 1, it will come to this inner router, and then if we call this go to next page, and then change this path and data accordingly. So if you change, for example, 852 and auto restart the application, now you can see when we press this one, it will go to 852. Also when you press back again, we are going back to page 1 with null data. So because of that, you go back to page 1. And here now when you copy the URL and open it in a new browser, you will have the same state, because we are rebuilding the whole navigation stack, right? So we have the home page, the page 1 and page 2, because we are going to this URL now. You will have because the path is now page 2, right? So this page 2 is also generated. So now when you press back, you can go to page 1. So you have the same state which you had in this web application to this. So you can do that using Navigator 2.0. So I think I have covered all the topics in Navigator 1.0 and Navigator 2.0, and I'll try to make sure to add all these timestamps in the description below so that you can directly jump into any of these subtopics and use it on your next Flutter application as a cheat list. Also, I'll try to add all these projects in the description below. Also, if you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section below.